Most people think the northern lights only happen in wintertime, but that's not true. Here, above the Arctic Circle, aurora activity actually happens almost every day, all year round. The only reason we don't see them in late spring and summer is because it never gets dark enough here in the north. The aurora is still dancing above the sunlight, just invisible to our eyes. Between April and September, it is basically just too bright outside, and from May to August we have midnight sun where the sun is up 24/7. What's actually happening is that the charged particles from the sun are constantly colliding with Earth's magnetic field. When those particles hit oxygen and nitrogen high up in the atmosphere, they release photons, and that's what creates those glowing green, pink, or even purple displays. Alta in Norway, this is where I live, sits right under the center of what scientists call the auroral oval, basically a ring of constant auroral activity around the magnetic pole. That means that even when the global KP index is low, like 1 or 2, we can still get powerful auroras directly overhead. The KP number you see in apps is just a rough global measure of geomagnetic disturbance. It tells people in places like southern Norway or even further south whether they might get lucky and see some auroras. But here, inside the oval, we don't need big numbers. A quiet night for the rest of the world is often spectacular for us. But if there is one thing that really matters up here, it's the sky clarity. You can have a strong aurora forecast, but if the sky is covered up in clouds, you won't see a thing. Clear skies matter way more than the KP number, especially here in the Arctic Circle. And here is a fun fact most people don't know. Around the equinox months, September and March, Earth's magnetic field tilts just right to let in more solar wind. That's why auroras often get brighter and more frequent in September and in March, even without solar storms. But these are the months that may have more rainfalls or snowfalls. So basically, chasing aurora borealis is true gambling throughout the whole season. So no, aurora doesn't sleep in summer. It is always there, just waiting for the darkness to return. So if you are thinking about coming to Norway, whether it is to get married, elope, or propose under the northern lights, there is really no right or wrong month. Any time between September and late March can be absolutely magical. All you need is a bit of faith, patience, and a little bit of luck. By the way, I'm not a scientist, I'm just a photographer who has lived her whole life in the Arctic and spent half of it observing and photographing these Arctic skies. So I would say I have a pretty good idea of what I'm talking about. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next episode. Bye!